Hello, 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 hello. We are back after the NC coming with my first YouTube since coming back. And I am starting off with a question and answers session, which I did on Instagram. So yeah, this is just for you guys. And then I do want to go further into so many reflections and things. But yeah, I just want to put out this video first. And yeah, hopefully in my following videos we will have like NC footage, stuff like that, reflecting on it, and then yeah, just some good conversations. But before I forget, please do remember to like and subscribe, comment, engage. It means a lot, and it's how hopefully I will slowly start to build this channel as I build my knowledge of how to do YouTube. It's a journey, bear with me. It's what's harder, trying to run a long way or YouTube. I think navigating YouTube, but we're on it. We're trying. So yeah, please do hit that subscribe button, and any other questions, hit me up and I'll add them to the list.
Hello Instagram, I have never done a live, so this feels so weird. But if I do a live, then apparently it means I can save it and then post it. So I'm also doing this, I'll film it for YouTube and I will put it on a podcast platform as well. For anyone that's interested. Oh, somebody's joined. Oh, people are joining. I've never done a live, this is so weird. Anyway, I've kind of collaborated all the questions I got and thought I would just start kind of running through them. Unsurprisingly, a lot of the questions were, will you do this again? And when I first finished, I was like, nope, that's it, we're done. Not doing it again, absolutely not. And now I'm kind of a little bit like, oh, well, maybe. I've learned a lot, I could maybe do it again. It would be in the future, a long time in the future. And it would definitely be only if I could get it fully funded by a brand or something. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't put so much of my personal life into it again, I don't think. But yeah, there was a lot of the questions of will you try again at some point? And then on the back of that, somebody asked, would you either try for a world record again or just complete it over a longer period? I would definitely do it for a record again because for me it just seems right. Following on from that, there was, do you think you would have had the distance if you went slower, or is it just too damn far? Honestly, if I hadn't got injured, I really believe that I could have gotten very close. Anyway, to the record, I might not got the record, but I do think when I got home, like apart from the injuries, which I will go into, I didn't have DOMs. I was like, I'm not even sore. Like it was so annoying. I felt so annoyed. And a lot of that was because of the feeling we did on the run, was all the routines we did. Like I put so much work into it. That yeah, it was just, I wouldn't go slower because there was no like need for me to go slower until I got injured. So yeah, I would definitely go for a record again. Depends what the record is by that point. By the time I maybe get around to doing it again, it would definitely be seeing what the record was. And yes, we'll see. And then yeah, we'll do it again. Any other ultra runs like GB Race Across Scotland? Yeah, it's on my list. I've actually kind of not planned, but I've got a race in January that I'm doing that is my like main focus, and I am now looking at potentially doing a little cheeky one in November because it times very nicely with my 30th birthday, so we'll see. I will be focusing on 100-mile races though for now. So that is all those kind of ones. Then there's my shoe rotation. Yeah, I had 3 different like types or sets of shoes. I had Scott shoes, which were the Run Club Scott shoes. Super good shoes. I hadn't ran in Scots, I won't lie, before, and it was amazing. They were really, really good. I would really recommend them. The Pursuit Ride 2. So I had actually 3 pairs of them that we alternated because my feet got so wet. And then I also had the Hoka Cleos, I think that's how you say it. And I had a pair of Brooks Ghosts as well. Yeah, and I thought I was being obsessive with shoes, but actually, but the rain that we had, it was not obsessive, it was fine. So yeah, that's all what that was. And the shoe strategy, didn't have a shoe strategy. We changed them when my feet got sore or too wet. And then yeah, that was kind of it. And then we had questions on, yeah, will you try it? I've done those ones. I need to delete them as I go, I think. I need to change colour of them, not delete them, because I want to keep these questions, because I'm going to do it on a written format as well. But I need to work this out. There we go. Okay. Just changing the colours. Sorry. There we go. Okay, I also got lots of questions about the planning. So I'm just gonna go through some of them. There was a lot that was like, what have you done before this? So it was like, have you run the NC distance before? No. I've not run 500 miles before. Are you kidding me? No. And then on the back of that was it mentally or physically harder? I would say it was physically harder because I got injured, which then made it very tough mentally. But I could have kept walking, I guess. If my coach hadn't called it, like I wouldn't have called it. But I also know that, my goodness, my body would, like, my recovery time would be so much longer. Mentally, there was highs and lows, which I'll go into. But yeah, and then one of the questions was, what was your biggest challenge previous? My biggest one was 110k race. Run the Borders. Really good race, by the way. Really good race. Recommend it. I really enjoyed that one. And then, yeah, a lot of it was, how did you begin to plan this? Well, I planned, because I switched coaches in February. I'd done a bit of planning with one coach, and then we kind of completely switched it up with the following coach, and he done a lot of the planning for me, which was amazing. We tried to be as flexible as possible, because with this kind of thing, you know, when you start walking, you need to walk. There's not much you can do about that, and you kind of can't plan those things. So I had all the planning of, like, we did have a lot of planning meetings of just like the logistics and things. The plan was the whole time, as much as I could, obviously not on super big hills, was to do 26 minutes running, 4 minutes walking, which worked amazingly day one. And then pretty much day two was really good as well. But yeah, so even day one, you know, like every 26 minutes I was having a walk for 4 minutes. I was feeling, it wasn't to just be like, how fast can I do 100 miles in? Like, that was, obviously it wasn't a 100-mile run, so that wouldn't have worked. And yeah, how did I even come up with this challenge and when? I came up with it last March, so it would be March 2024. When I had a stress fracture in my knee and I couldn't run. So then I thought, well, I'll just run 500 miles. That's when I came up with it, was March 2024. So I'd been planning for well over a year. And yeah, what other events have you done? How I got to that? I only technically ran my first marathon in October 2023. Now, I know that sounds like one of those cliche Instagrammers of, oh my God, I just started running. No, I had ran for years, like nothing competitive, but I had ran for years and years and years. And I did have, very high volume weeks of running that I would do myself, but it's not that, oh my God, I started running 2 years ago. That is not the case. I hate people like that. I did have nothing competitive, nothing structured, but I did have a big background, and my job was a fitness instructor, so it was very much, my job was in sport. So yeah, my first marathon was 2023, which was Loch Rannoch in October, and then I moved on to John Muir Way Nocturnal Ultra, and that's where I kind of first done an ultra. And yeah, so I haven't done any super big ones or super, like, I don't think it's super cool. There are super cool ones, but nothing like big. I've enjoyed all of them that I've done though. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more. Yeah, and again, just planning. It was a lot of support, like my coach and everyone that was kind of on my team really helped with the planning as well. So that was not just me. I did have obviously rough plans and stuff, but yeah, the crew done so much of my planning, which was amazing. Funding, did I look into, funding. Did I look into lottery grants, funding, help out with stuff? Yes, there was at one point I was making myself send 10 emails a day to any company, any brand, anything. Like, if you name a brand or like a company, especially in regarding sport, I'll have tried it. So I really tried to get funding for this, and I thought I would, to be honest. Maybe naively, but I tried housing companies, distilleries, I don't know, I tried biscuit companies, tried everything. Gas, electricity, water, you name it, I tried it. Same with brands, I literally tried every brand that you can think of. Yeah, and I'm so grateful for the brands that did pick me up. Not that anything was it wasn't financial and stuff, but yeah, I was so grateful for the kit from Scott was amazing. Kit from Greaves was great. And then obviously I had Muggins socks pick me up, which is great. And they honestly were so good at they were the ones that put me in touch with Scott and everything. So Muggins was amazing. I had Endurance on my gels and stuff, and Simple Kitchen getting in there as well. For actual meals. And then yeah, I had so much support from other people, but nothing was financial. But because I started listing sponsors, and I feel I need to finish listing them, and my doors just went, this is what do you do on Instagram Live when your door goes? I don't know. But yeah, I'm just going to make sure I mention all of the people that did support me really amazing, like Sontiera, by the way, their sunglasses are amazing and they're so reasonably priced, 25 quid. I love them. And they have like little gel bits behind your ears. Amazing. Moggins, Trail Goddess sent me clothes. Their brand is so lovely, and so is their owner of the brand. I would honestly recommend it's for females. But their clothing is just lovely. And it's made for women. I know. There was Smidge that sent me a Midgie spray, which was used. Trail Skin, which was again amazing. I'm going to get onto that foot care though, because that's to do with foot care. And yeah, Kieran at Sports Therapy, Agency 23 was such a support. And yeah, so yeah, anyway, that's just because I went on to, speaking about sponsors, I thought I can't mention one and not everybody. That's the last bit I'll do about that though. So yeah, my people have asked me a bit more about what my why was and why I wanted to do it. And yeah, I suppose I'd spoken, I think, briefly on a reel. I would love to, anyone that does podcasts, get in touch, because I'd love to go on a podcast and really delve into all this without feeling self-indulgent filming myself on a camera. Yeah, I think my why, there was so many reasons behind my why I wanted to do it. Obviously because Scotland, it's cool. And there was a while I really struggled traveling or getting in the car or anything. So I felt like I needed to be something in Scotland. And I'd always wanted to go and just explore Scotland more. And then I just thought, why not do it on foot? Why not? But for me, it was so much bigger than just a run. It was very much challenging myself in so many different ways that I didn't even know I'd be challenged on, to be honest. It was making me do things that I hadn't done in a long, long time. Again, I haven't spoken much about a lot of this, but I hadn't eaten in front of people in a long time. It was making me eat in front of people. It was making me travel. It was making me just do loads of stuff that I wouldn't normally, I didn't feel able to push myself enough out my comfort zone to do without a reason. Then there's the other why of I did really want to raise awareness of autism and ADHD in females. And this felt like a good way to do it, I guess. And again, that's something I want to keep doing. So I am thinking about starting a little blog, a little Substack to get on that, but that'll hopefully come in time. And then the other why was, I wanted, because I couldn't find a female record, which turns out there is a female that's done it. She's amazing. She was self-supported and her trackers ran out. No. But because I couldn't find a female record, I just wanted to be well, why not just try? And again, originally I wasn't even going to try and get the male record. But I do think deep down it's in my body, and especially what just happened at the Summer Spine. Ladies were 1 and 2, just saying. So there's a bit more about all that why, and also I do want to make this my career somehow. I don't know how that'll work or how that might come about, but at some point I do want this to be a big part of my career, my life, and doing the NC just felt right. But that only came in later. That wasn't the reason I was going to do the NC. That suddenly became oh my god, what could happen if I complete this, or if I show that I can do these kind of things. So yeah, that's a lot of my whys. And then we've got the I've broken this down into categories. So then I was going to go into the personal aspect of stuff. Kind of personal, not related too much to the thing, but just, yeah. So I've got, how did I train to become a coach? I trained because you probably don't know this, I'm a qualified PT and I do online coaching. BT Dubs, get in touch if you want to coach. How did I train to become a coach? I started off with group fitness in, 2016 maybe? 2016. Yeah, oh my goodness, that makes me feel quite old. Yeah, I started off with group fitness in Les Mills and I've just taught gym classes, and then I moved into, I done my PT qualification and my level 2, level 3. So yeah, I'm actually looking at doing another upskill for being a specific running coach. But yeah, that's how I did it. Also, I just got a little flag up there. Would you do it again? E.g., give yourself 10 days. I wouldn't give myself 10 days, absolutely not, but maybe do it again. Once this is up live, you can go back and there's bits there. I see you, Scott. But no, I wouldn't do 10 days. That's too long for me. I got a question. Are you okay? How are you feeling? How lovely. I am working through stuff, shall we say. I would love to come on here and be completely yeah, we're great, we're fine. We're not. But I'm going to do a post on that soon. I think do a reel or something on that. And I'll talk more about the recovery because, again, I don't feel like it's spoken about enough. which sucks. But yeah, have you ever walked the West Highland Way? No, I would like to run it one day though. I would definitely like to race it. I would have applied this year for it if I hadn't been doing the NC. It's definitely on my to-do list, whether it's in the actual race or if it's just going and doing it myself, don't know. Did you have a long playlist? Yes, I did. I believe it was very long. Didn't listen to too much of it, to be honest, but it was very long. And what was your training plan like? My training plan was personalized by my coach. And again, I never really like to share too much of my training because I feel like we compare it or everything, unless you're doing like a bog standard plan or something of like an app which you personalize yourself. I feel like it's such a personal thing that's tailored towards you, which is why I do hesitate always to share my training plan. What I will say is I have to work very hard at not overtraining. So my coach tends to be like, you're fine, you're doing enough. And I guess when I see people post it on Instagram, my head sometimes goes to that, like, oh my God, they're doing more, I should be doing more. So that's kind of why I am reluctant to share too much of the training. But I guess maybe that's just how it sits in me and my own relationship with seeing people's training. So maybe my future training blocks I'll share, or I'll share more when I'm coming back to kind of show that like you don't just spring back. Because again, so much on social media, it just looks like people do a race and they just come back to training like normal. So I don't know, I might share more when I am coming back to like running, because I'm back training, but nothing exciting, right? So then I was going to go on to the learning and advice little questions I got. And what is the biggest piece of advice you give somebody attempting a run like this? I think the biggest piece of advice would be to believe in yourself. I know that doesn't necessarily give you, anything, but it is literally just to believe that you can do it. Because if you go into it, question it, something that's so long like this, your mind will give out. And I think that's why my body pretty much gave out before my mind did, because I was so determined. Yeah, I think it's very much you got to believe in yourself. But even if you don't believe in, like, even channel it from like you're believing in somebody else, like you think somebody else can do it, so then you just start to believe in yourself. But yeah, absolutely believing in yourself and making sure the team around you. Because on an event like this, it's very much it is a solo run, but it's a team that does it, like, and making sure that your team are okay is a massive bit of advice as well. Yeah. What's my biggest lesson learned? Oh my God, I don't know. There's so many lessons I've learned. I've literally been writing so much. I think one of the biggest lessons, I don't know, it's really weird because Maybe my biggest lesson is like you're capable of more than you think you are. Like when you feel like you're at your limit, you're so not. you're really not. Unless it's physical. Then when you are physically at the limit, you're physically there. Like I wasn't at the limit, but if we kept going, it would have been stupid. So I feel like biggest lesson is like, yeah, knowing there's more there and learning to trust other people. That's one of the biggest lessons. I'm still working on that, but learning to trust other people. Which is hard. And then I got a question, how did you prepare mentally, so little sleep and you still got up and moved? Weirdly, I feel like I coped with the sleep deprivation not too bad. That was a concern, for sure. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to cope with such little sleep. But obviously the lack of sleep would have contributed to like the emotional state I was in at points, and just the general fatigue. But it was very much a, well, you've got a job to do, get up and go kind of thing. It wasn't really like there was at no point I considered sleeping in. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, okay, let's go. It's time to go. And yeah, how do you mentally prepare? So I did a lot of sleep on my journey leading up to it. A lot of work on my sleep. Not so much for the race itself, but just like my relationship with sleep and how I sleep and everything. So I went into it with a very holistic approach of kind of trying to tackle a lot of stuff. So I feel like, yeah, I don't know, just mentally, it was a job. Just go on and do it, I guess. Far easier than me getting up this morning, let me tell you. Not easier, but I just could sit bolt upright. I was like, there's a job to do with this morning. I was like, oh, no. And then I'm going to move on to, I see there's little questions popping up, but I think I've already asked the question, like answered the questions that are popping up. So I'll just get through these first. And then I've got the experience itself. So two of these are to do with food. What food did you manage to hold down to fuel what you did, and how difficult was it to fuel? I actually truly surprised myself with how well I did fuel. I'd worked really closely with a nutritionist going into this, who's amazing. She was there with me helping and making sure it was all prepped and stuff, which was fantastic. and I really relied on the crew. Like if I'd had that, just the responsibility on me to fuel, I probably wouldn't have, because I also forget, like I have to set alarms when I'm doing my run to fuel or to drink. I'm really bad at forgetting to drink. So, it was easier to fuel because I had the crew there helping me. Like this or that, or, what do you need or what do you want, kind of thing. So that was really useful. I managed to hold the food down really well apart from day 3. I think I threw up once. But apart from that, that's like pretty good, right? Yeah. So I managed to hold most of it down. It was more just like what foods I could take or like want at the time. We used quite a lot of the gels for the first 2 days, and then it was like going between stuff. I ate a lot of the rhubarb and custard Haribo sweets. They're amazing. If you've not tried them, I recommend rhubarb and custard Haribo. You have to buy them on Amazon or something, but they're so good. What was my best view of my run? Oh, there's so many. And I also feel like if the weather had been better, there would have been so many other good views. But I think one that really sticks in mind was the first night. We were looking over to, I want to say it's Rossi? I always say it wrong. And the sun was setting, and it was just after the day that had been horrendous weather, it was just amazing. It was just like, and I think because it was obviously stunning, but I think because it finally stopped raining and you could actually see something, I was just like, this is amazing, this is Scotland. And then on the last morning, in fact, day 3, I want to call it Lady. I need to work out how to say these places. Anyway, you went up a big hill and then you went down a big hill, and on the downhill, it was just breathtaking. Like I cannot describe to you the beach and the scenery that was there. And then on the last day, even though I was miserable for some of it, we walked through the first bit, was like walking through, like really just ups and downs. There's so many sheep. We were having a great time with the sheep. My coach was walking with it a bit, and we had some fab times with the sheep. But then coming round the beach at that bit was just stunning. Like I cannot describe how pretty Scotland is. Like I know that sounds really cliche, but oh my god, it was just what a place to be. And it's summer. I will go and do it in a car and enjoy it and take loads of photos. I literally took like hardly any photos. I'm still waiting to get a lot of them back from the media team, so I'll share them more as I get them. But yeah, and also day 1 and 2 and even parts of day 3 was just rain, so it was just like you could see but you couldn't really see. Did you run up Bealach na Bar, and if so, what bionic legs did you use? No, we walked up Bealach na Bar. I thought it'd be better to save my legs for the downhill in the future days. But if you've never seen Bealach na Bar, I recommend you Google it because it is fantastic. When it came to an end, was it sudden or had you felt the pace drop for a while? Yeah, I mean, the pace dropped from the end of day 2, it dropped dramatically. Day 3 morning started really well. Like I felt great. I was like, off we go. And then it all went wrong. Turns out there is a stress fracture in my shin, which obviously I was actually feeling it more in my hip and my foot, but it turns out like the hip was caving in so much, and then it was going on the foot and the shin, and then it was going onto the right leg. So yeah, that was the pace drop. Was I feel like it very much ties in with where the pain started a lot, like to get really bad. And yeah, then I just was unable to run. Like it was so frustrating. Like I had no power in my leg to lift up my knees properly. When I was running, it was a shuffle run. Yeah, and then I was just like, well, we're just walking. Cool, let's walk. And every time I would try and run, I just couldn't. I was like, and it was incredibly painful, but it also just wasn't moving. My legs just weren't lifting up. Like without me literally physically lifting up my left leg, it just was like, yeah, we're just gonna chill, which is annoying. But yeah, the pace dropped dramatically, but that's kind of when it came to an end. Was just like, nah, we can't do this anymore. Like it's stupid. What routine did you have or anything specific to manage your feet? Oh, my feet look great, by the way. Well, they look disgusting as feet do, but great neck. So I had my Morgan socks on, which are meant to be fair. I got a couple of blisters, but I'm not going to blame the socks. So I had proper socks on because normally I wear Amazon socks. So I actually got proper socks. I did put on, I think by day 3, my feet had gotten so wet, I put on Trailskin trench foot. Then we taped up my feet where like blisters would lightly be occurring, or where I was getting blisters, we taped them up straight away. And before I went on it, I was using it's called a tanner, which sounds weird, but it's like it strengthens the skin on your feet, so it makes them look like really disgusting and minging, but it helps prevent blisters. So I did all the foot prep before as well. which was all from my coach. Like, I hadn't heard of this. But he kind of gave me this guidance, and it definitely made a difference. Like, it definitely toughens up your feet. Even though now I'm going to spend the next 6 months trying to get them pretty again, and then I'll restart it again for the next 100 miler. Then somebody asked the highs and low moments of your challenge. One of the biggest highs was coming up the top of Bíleach na Bar and just being like, we made it. Amazing. Day one was, it was awesome. There was a lot of highs that were all mixed in, and I'm still processing like what day it was, where they were, etc. But yeah, the top of Bíleach na Bar, I just remember being like, wow, we did it. And then again at the end of day one, like just getting into the van at night and being like, we've did day one, that's amazing. A lot of the views are just stopping and being like, wow, this is pretty cool. But also like the connections I made, I feel like some of them were a massive highlight of the challenge. Low moments, some of the weather was brutal, really brutal. Day 2, I was like, I can't deal with the rain anymore. And then by day 3, I was scared of the rain. I was like, if I take my jumper off, it's going to rain. So we're just going to sweat and be hot because it can't rain again. I just got terrified of it raining on me, which was weird because I don't feel like the rain bothers me that much. Like day 1, I was like, cool, boom. By halfway through day 2, I was like, it's still raining. It is torrential rain. This is hard. And then obviously one of the low moments was, having to stop, getting pulled, and kind of the hour leading up to that was just brutal. Mentally, I was kind of going to a very funky place, and I was in a lot of pain. And actually starting day 4 was really tough. I was just like, how am I going to do this? That's where I got to the stage where I was like, how am I going to do this? But my coach actually walked with me for a while, and I really picked up. It's amazing what company can do. What were the good bits of your challenge? What did you enjoy? What were the things that helped? Company, like knowing everyone at home was supporting me was so lovely. Like that really helped at times. And even though I wasn't on my phone, like knowing there was messages coming through was so kind. And like when I did like open my phone to change a song or something, a lot of times would be like a really nice message there, and it was just such a boost to see those messages. So that really, really helped so much. Having my dad there was amazing. I enjoyed so much of it. Like the experience still feels very surreal. I think I enjoyed pushing myself and seeing what I can do and what I need to work on still. That maybe sounds weird as an enjoyment, but it definitely was interesting and also to know like, oh my God, I still have so much room to improve. Like that's so cool. Like I have so much to work on, and I actually enjoy finding out those bits that I can work on. Finally onto the reflections. Do you think there's anything you could have done differently with training to prevent injury? Honestly, no. I do have a bit of a history with injury. I think from years of teaching Les Mills, like teaching 30 classes a week and running on top of that, it's just not ideal. So I think it's now just sticking with my coach, really working with him on my load, and strengthening everything. My leg was still weak from the stress fracture last year, which I didn't realise how weak it was. We only found that out in April, I think. So we did all the work we could on that. And I think for me, it's like, I wouldn't have done anything differently now because I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't know what I now know if I'd done anything differently. But it's then moving forward as well, we keep strengthening, we keep doing this. And again, with injury, it's so much of like nutrition. Like maybe I would have started working with a nutritionist 5 years ago. All these kind of things of what could have made a difference, but it's also then, well, what makes a difference moving forward? What do I learn from and change from? If I was to do it again and it's then been like, well, did you learn from that experience? Yes, then you shouldn't do anything differently the first time around. If I was to do it again and then do the exact same, it would be like, well, no wonder it messed up, like duh. So would you have changed anything about the way you rested during the NC? No, honestly, I think the kind of thing with ultra running is like 3 hours sleep to the 24, and I think that I think I was okay most of the time on that. I wouldn't have changed that, to be honest. If I was to do it again, I'd do it the same way. I think I wouldn't change that. I would change how we split a lot of the resting for crew and stuff, but I wouldn't change how I rested specifically. What would you change in your training prep before the NC again? Nothing. Just in hindsight, doing it, like there's so much in hindsight, but then you don't know that if you've not done it. So I would just make sure the next time I do it, not saying I'm doing it again, the next race I do, it'll be different and I'll learn from all these things. Oh, what is the hardest thing about not finishing? It's so weird because there's been so many feelings about not finishing. It's been very split, it's really weird. I think one of the things in my head keeps being like, what could have been? like, and just one, feeling like a complete failure. And I know I'm not a failure, but you know, just like a failure and that I let everyone down and stuff. So that's all kind of the personal thoughts, I guess. And then the more like other thoughts are like, oh, what could have been, what would have happened if you did complete it? Like, one, what would have that meant for females in sport and autistic people? Like that would have been awesome. And I think also kind of knowing that the social media, and I know that's not how you should think of it, but I was kind of hoping that I could like make some of the money back from that, you know, like the kind of get the ball rolling of podcasts and interviews and spreading the word, basically. Like I could have spread the word of autism, ADHD, etc. so much further if I had finished this. And I think that's where it's like the achievement means so much more than just the achievement, you know, it means more than the record. It means getting your message out further. It means getting the publicity to then send the message out and to speak to more people and to have those connections. So I think, yeah, that's been tough about, yeah, hardest thing about not finishing. Because yeah, I think when I got home, I was like, this is not how I expected to come home. And even if I didn't finish, it still wasn't how I expected to feel. I was like, oh, this is not what I expected. Or like the last 2 weeks have been, again, not what I expected. So, but it's been very good for learning. I will say that. What was the toughest part, both mentally and physically? I don't know. I think that last half an hour before we called it was 100%, or like the hour, because we had a bit and then I'd stopped and whatnot. I think, yeah. And actually physically that was also probably the toughest part, because it got to the stage where I was in so much pain that I didn't communicate with my crew. Really should have communicated that better. Then my mental state was away. I think, yeah, obviously having the stress fracture, now knowing that would have contributed, but also knowing I have, and I have briefly joked about this, but also that I have a broken hand that I've had since December. And then using poles, so I ended up using two poles. Using a pole on a broken hand for 2 days is agony. So just all those kind of things, but yeah. And yeah, what was your favourite part of the experience for the final question? Yeah, the whole thing, the learnings, so much. I guess on reflection, my favourite part is, yeah, what I've learned, I think, and how I take that going forward. Like what you learn is, you can't read that in a book. You can't get that from podcasts. Like you just learn it, and I can try and now share stuff with other people, or talk about the experience. Or do you know what one of the favourite parts were actually? This wasn't even to do with me, but it was like knowing how many people at home who have no interest in running or ultra running are sitting watching a dot and getting so excited about it. And I was like, I love this. Like I love that my friends who do not run in the slightest, don't even do no sport, nothing, are like, we're sitting watching this dot and it's amazing. So for me that was so cool. I've been like showing them that what I do is exciting sometimes. And then I'm just going to quickly go through the questions that I've been asked on here just now. So if you do have any other questions and you're the 13 people watching this, hit me up. Did you run or walk? No, I ran and then kind of walked. I don't know what Deva means. Deva ? Unsure. Chelsea, yes, I'm turning 30, I know. Sorry, I'm just scrolling. Would you have answered that question? I know it's fresh. Yeah, so any other challenges, just in case people are still kind of watching, I'm hoping to maybe do a race in November that's a 100 miler, and then I have a 100 miler in January booked. So focusing on the 100 milers for the next little bit. Scrolling. How did your legs feel after running 100 miles? Like what was the marathon? Yeah, weirdly they were fine. I was so shocked. I was really worried about what they'd be like, especially day one. I thought, oh my god, day two is going to be, and they were a little bit tired, but they were way better than I had thought. Well, I think it's because for me, I wasn't pushing the pace on day one. Like it was paced, I wasn't pushing it. Whereas if I'd pushed the pace, that would have been a totally different ballgame. Like, you know, if I was to do a fast 5K, my legs would be in bits the next day. You know, all those kind of things. I wasn't pushing the pace. So yeah. And then would you speak in public forums with students about autism and ADHD and running? Absolutely. I would love to get into going into, one of the things I do want to go and start doing more talks in schools or with teachers. Obviously I'm doing my counselling as well, so tying that in with counselling, I'd love to kind of create a format that I can go into schools, but not just speak to the kids, but actually the teachers, and explain the kids' experiences, and then take from kids into workplaces as well, and kind of go in and do those kind of talks and kind of like CPD as well. That's all far in the future, but kind of the CPD courses, because I have to be a officially qualified and make a course and stuff, but if I could go in and speak to kids at schools or even corporate places and things, like that would be amazing for me, and to one, let people know they're not alone, but to two, help other people understand what people are feeling or experiencing in those moments at points that just the kind of, I'm going to use it neurotypical, but like wouldn't experience the same way. And again, I can only speak from my experiences and what I've read, so I'm again so aware that every single experience is different. But yeah, I'd love to go and do more stuff like that. And final question, I think. Oh no, not quite. Not final question. Do you recommend other people take on monster challenges like this? Yeah, why not? If you feel okay to do so, why not? I would just say make sure that you have finances, because that was a bit stressful. If you're going to do it, try and get sponsorship before you decide to do it, I would say. Like, to be fair, I tried from like, I think September. But anyway, I would, recommend that. And I'd recommend, like, I did make sure I had permission from the police to do this. I have a voicemail from the police force in Wick telling me I could do it. So I did, like, check all the stuff to make sure it was, like, safe and legal. Legal is good. I thought there's been nothing worse than doing this and then being told, well, that's illegal. But yeah, why not? Dream big. Dream big. What about a backyard ultra? Yeah, that's definitely something I'd want to do at some point. I think I just need to focus on my racing right now. Because I want to try and get into, like, get a sponsorship or get a team or something like that. And I need to get UTMB points for that. So, yes, but I would like to do a backyard ultra at some point. I think it would be a really good challenge. And to have that, like, kind of stop and start, I think would be interesting. So yeah, definitely on the radar. What would be your ultimate endurance event if you could make one? Oh my goodness, I can't think about that on the spot. I don't know. I don't know. I would like to do an Ironman at some point. I know that that's not your running endurance. I think it's a different type of endurance, definitely. I don't know what else to do. Just run really far. I think see where the human body can go. Do an endurance event on eating or something though. No, I don't know. I would need to think on that. Maybe an endurance event that, I don't know, no screens involved as well, but definitely not. See, my thing is I can't read a map. So my mum and dad got me a course for my Christmas to go on an orienteering course so I could learn to read maps. That is on my to-do list because I feel like a lot of the massive endurance stuff are things that I think would be awesome. I'm like, you gotta be able to like navigate a little bit better than this says. So yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, absolutely DM me for that. And you gotta should do a backyard ultra with you next year. No, I've got my 100 milers booked in. Sorry. Have you done any multi-day challenges before? Life is a multi-day challenge, I feel. Life is one big multi-day challenge. But no, I haven't done any running multi-day challenges. However, when I was teaching gym classes, I worked 7 days a week for about 2 years. And I was doing 32-ish classes a week and running. So I would say that was a multi-day challenge, because some of the days I was teaching 6 Les Mills classes, which meant I actually did the classes. So yeah, I would say that was a multi-day challenge, but not a race. So yeah. All right, I have got to the end of my questions. I have done my first ever Instagram live. I need to wait and see if I can actually work out how to put this now on my Instagram. I don't even know how to stop it. Do you just hit the X maybe? Watch, this will just go and I'll be like, great, the whole thing was gone. But yeah, I'm also going to put this on YouTube, and I will transfer it to audio so you can listen to it if you want. And I am going to write I'm going to write it like I'm going to condense the questions further and then write it in a bit of a blog post, because I'm thinking about starting a bit of a blog, whether that's just for me or not. I don't know. Do I share it to the public yet? Don't know. But anyway, I hope everyone has a fabulous evening and I will catch up soon. Thanks guys, bye!